I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us here at AfterBuzz TV. We're going to talk all about Boomerang this episode. There was a lot of different controversial things in this episode called The Reversal of Dog. I'm your host, Chef Beanz, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, who is Missy.
Hey guys, Missy Vernier here. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. It was definitely kind of tables are turned. We're seeing more of Bryson and Ari this time, so yeah.
Right, no, absolutely. So let's just jump right in. We had Bryson, who had his different conversations at the barbershop. Then we saw Ari having his little sexual controversy. What did you think overall about this episode?
Okay, so I definitely saw some comparisons between the series and the movie in the first scene, so that was cool. But then afterwards, I was happy we could see a little bit more of Bryson, how he's working through the breakup, and then also like how Ari's dealing with everything with his current love life, because we haven't seen that yet, so it's interesting for sure.
Right, like I really like this episode because how real they made it on Bryson's corner. Like just the different barbershop talk. I thought that was very interesting. But when it came to Ari's situation, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little taken back because I just was so just like shocked, like whoa, like okay, they taking it for this episode.
Definitely. I was surprised about like how that whole interaction played, just to see how raw the scene was, just because we haven't really seen that part of Ari before. Like in season 1, they didn't really show it. We just knew he was bisexual. So then to show like, an actual scene, I was like, oh my gosh, am I ready for this?
Right. No, absolutely. So let's jump right in. So the episode starts, right? And we see Bryson still in his situation, and he had a little situation. How did you feel about that?
Okay, wait. Can we rewind to the very beginning of that scene where he met the girl in the park?
Right.
That's from the movie. Remember when Eddie like was chasing after that girl with like the poodle?
Oh yeah.
And they stole the poodle's name from the dog's name was Kirby, and they literally stole like the whole scene, but it was like now in like modern day.
Kirby.
Yeah, and he was like, we could play with each other. It's like, oh, like with your dog, and he was like, no.
Right. The writers, they're very witty with that, how they take certain scenes from the actual movie. They did that a lot in season 1, but I see it trickled in a little bit this season. But that scene that you're talking about with the puppy Kirby, they absolutely grabbed that straight from the movie. So I'm happy that you caught that.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I mean, if you didn't watch the movie, like, I don't think you would put those two comparisons together, but I thought that was kind of like witty and like kind of throwing it back. But yeah, with the whole scene about with the woman, I don't really know her name, but I mean, like, it's embarrassing for him to be like impotent in that situation. It's like, it's just like you can't do anything. It's like, okay, I'm not a man, so I don't know like how like a man perspective or a male perspective.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna just give it to you raw. We grown. Everybody watching this is grown. I have been in that situation before. Like I've been in a situation where everything was cool, but I was like, yo, like, what is there something wrong with me? But I feel like that's happened to every guy at least once.
Yes,
right.
I agree. I think it definitely happens to everyone. And I don't think it's like weird if it happens because that's just
no. I don't take it as weird. And me and my friends have even had conversation about like, yo, like, but I more so I was a lot younger when that happened. But I think it's funny how he responded to it because here we have a very hurt Bryson, fresh out of the relationship, and he's going through like raising terror on these women, just smashing them onto the next, smashing onto the next. So here he is where he thought he was in power, thought he was in control, but he ran into a situation to where came up limp noodle on him. He had the limp. He didn't know what to do. How would you have like responded in that situation?
I mean, okay, I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna say that, but I mean, like if I was in her shoes, like I would.
If you were in her shoes,
I would just be like more apologetic because like that is like a human nature thing. Like not everyone you meet in your life you're gonna be attracted to or you're gonna be like wanting to be sexual with. So I could see that was probably it. But I feel like Bryson drinks a lot too. So like that also has like a factor into the workings down there. So if you drink a lot, I feel like that's also an issue too. Because remember at the barbershop, they asked him, and then he was like, "No, I was sober." So even if he was sober, he does drink a lot. So that's also
Right. It probably definitely negatively impacted his body in that moment. And it
Mhm.
was very embarrassing. Like I can just tell it was very embarrassing for him. But I guess we're going to just have to wait and see what Bryson does transitioning after this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that never happened to Bryson before. So I think he's like, "Oh my God, there's something wrong with me," and it's like nothing's wrong with you. It's just like that. It happens. It's okay.
Right. No, it definitely impacted his ego. But speaking of impact, can you let the listeners know how they've impacted us and how we can impact them?
Oh yeah, we just want to say thank you everybody for watching. We love all the fans. I've been reading everyone's comments, so thank you so much for interacting with us guys, and especially that we've been doing Zoom conference calls and talking about the show. It's so nice to do this. And yeah, guys, just give us 5-star review, ratings. Keep commenting. We love you guys, and thanks for watching.
Yes, we really appreciate y'all. So like Missy said, if you're on YouTube, leave us a thumbs up, iTunes 5-star rating. But no matter where you're at, leave us a nice juicy comment because we're gonna keep bringing you the goods. We're gonna continue to bring you the goods. But speaking about goods, I know after I go to the barbershop, that's usually when I feel most good. And we see that Bryson went to the barbershop to get some type of, I guess he was looking for answers, but they could tell that he wasn't the same because they're talking about women. They're talking about a bunch of different things. So once they swung it to Bryson, like, yeah, Bryson, what do you think? He's like, he exploded. He
Yeah,
exploded.
because he's vulnerable. I feel like I said, he never been in that situation before, and especially just like being in a room full of like different perspectives. I feel like he just didn't know how to handle it and just be like, "Oh, I appreciate it." Instead of being like territorial, he could have just just said like, "Thanks, guys. I appreciate your feedback," and like kept it moving. But instead, he like went the other way.
Right. Well, I mean, this season we see that Bryson is struggling with alcoholism. So
Yeah.
he hasn't really
Oh,
been
he's
able.
not an alcoholic. He just is using alcohol to cope with his breakup, which is
Right,
not the best
right. Not that's
way.
not the best tactic at all, but
Yeah,
that's what he's been doing. And we
yeah,
see that the alcohol can mitigate the way that he's feeling right now because
true.
he's embarrassed and he's in a barbershop full of a lot of seemingly confident other black men sharing stories, and he wants to add to the story. But we can see that he still has this gray cloud floating over his head. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I even like how they continue to like pick at it. Then we said, okay, I'll open up. Finally, I'll open up. The whole barbershop's against me. So I have a friend. He came up, limp noodle, blah blah blah. But then when they found out it was him, I thought that was the funniest part. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it was definitely like that was a definitely funny part. And I feel like when they figured it out, they were like, "Oh, the friend's you." Like, "Oh, okay." But then when his barber explained it to him, like, I don't necessarily agree with what he said to him was true. I just think in that
As far as
moment,
what?
I mean, like that she broke his dick, but I don't think that I don't think that's true. I don't think that's a true thing because he's been with other women, so it's just like no, that's not it. I think he's like he got to his head, like he was thinking too much in his head. I feel like that's what affected his performance.
No, absolutely. But his barber was there to be an opening ear, and you see how they kept calling Simone the girl with the Dora the Explorer wig.
Yeah,
And at the end of their conversation, he even said, "So, Dora the Explorer, like, what's her name again?" So the barber, and that's honestly like the older man intuition. A lot
yeah,
of times us younger dudes feel like we're going through things for the first time. So when we could like I guess lean on mentors or just that older man for guidance, I think that's very important when it comes to like growing and healing, especially when it's coming from a real, authentic, genuine source. And his
yeah,
barber seemed genuine. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%. And they seem like they have a good relationship, and they definitely talk about other things. So they all have that good. And also, I feel like just I mean, like if you don't want to go to therapy, like it's nice to vent about and like confide in people without going to see a therapist. So like I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to like trust the people that you're telling your business to. So
No, absolutely. But speaking about business, let's talk about the business that Ari's been in with his mate.
his partner.
His
I mean,
partner.
yeah, mate,
Partner?
partner.
Can we call it partner?
He wants to be his only partner.
Right. But
Yeah.
so let's transition into that. We see how that scene started with them being intimate with each other.
Yes.
And then the dude basically says, so when we gonna switch it up? And Ari's like, why would you?
No, let's just keep it how it is. I feel like the guy, we don't know his name. Did they say his name? I don't think so, but
Yeah, I believe they did, but let's just I don't remember.
okay. Yeah, let's not guess.
Right.
No, but I just feel like in that, I feel like artists need to be a little bit more vulnerable, especially like I feel like people forget that, especially if you're having sex with someone, like you're kind of like you're opening yourself up to them, and he's already a closed off person anyway, so that just complicates things, and he just needs to be a little bit more straight up, and especially that guy, like his partner friend, who I don't know what to call him, but I think he should definitely like reevaluate the situation if he wants to be in something that's complicated. And it seemed to me he didn't want to be in something like that's difficult and toxic.
Right. He didn't want to be in a situation that was that toxic, nor did Ari kind of give him the space to. Like you could tell he was like dragging his feet. He didn't really want to get on the elevator. He didn't really want to go. But even when Ari came around the corner, like, I'm sorry, I'm moving kind of fast. Let's even go to when they were out in public. And
Yeah, that's what really pissed him off. Yeah.
he tried to show some type of PDA, but there were other guys around. And this is where Ari's masculinity came in because though he's bi, or I'm sorry, he said he don't care about labels, he still cares about how he's perceived in the public.
Yes, I think that's something Ari needs to get over, especially I mean, he doesn't care about labels, but at the end of the day, I think as like his for his character to develop I don't think he knows what he wants, and I think that's an issue too. You
Right.
know, so I don't know. I think he has a lot of developing to do as like a character. Like he has to figure out like, okay, like what kind of like lover do I want to be? Do I just want to be
Right.
casual? Like serious. So like I think he has to figure that out with like who he's with. Cause right now, like and then when the guy when they went up to the counter, the Chick-fil-A guy was like, oh, is this together or separate? And he said together. And then his like friend partner was like separate.
Right. It seems like Ari is trying to pick or choose when he wants to be intimate or when he wants to be lovey-dovey with a male.
Yes.
So that I believe that's where the confusion comes from. Is he going to be overt or covert with his sexuality? Because when he's pressed in public, I guess if someone was to ask him, "How do you feel?" he'll say, "I don't believe in titles. I'm a free spirit." But even at the elevator scene, he said, "You're not really a free spirit because you do care about what people think. So you have to decide who you truly want to be." So
Yeah.
just like the episode is titled, what is it? The reversal of the
The dog.
dog
Yeah.
reversal of the dog. So I think even how this season started, Bryson and Ari were both on some player type, and we about to smash mad chicks. I see what you're doing. Now the tables have reversed on both of these dogs.
Mhm.
Bryson smashing all these chicks. Now he can't get it up in certain situations. Ari, on the other hand, has been doing whatever he's been doing for how many years, but now that he's challenged or pressed, he's kind of like, I do have some questions I got to ask myself because it's all, I believe, just like character building in a character building experience.
Yeah, definitely. And then after the whole interaction, he went out and then like wanted to meet another guy, but then that was just like, no, he wasn't feeling it. And then he met another girl, and then that whole scene, I was like, oh wow.
Right.
But I think Ari definitely has questions to answer within himself. There's definitely there's something about him he needs to figure out, especially if he wants to date seriously or not. But he comes off so casual, so maybe he needs to preface it that before he dates anyone. Like, this is what I want. If you're not about it, bye. I think he
Right.
needs to be very straightforward, especially if that's something he's interested in.
No, absolutely. This episode was definitely focused on these two, so I'm just curious to see how things are going to transpire after this. Were you able to see anything between the week about this show or anything that they posted?
I didn't get to see like the preview for next week, but I just want to know where Brittany's at. She like wasn't in last episode. She wasn't in this episode. I'm like, yo, like it's crazy.
No, So Brittany, just like our first interview that we had with the cast, they said Brittany kind of blossoms this season. So I feel like they're going to dedicate an episode, maybe even the next episode, to Brittany because remember they were saying she's going to Paris and everything
Oh,
like that.
yeah. Well, maybe that would be like a season finale type of vibe or something.
Maybe, who knows? Do you have any predictions for the next episode?
I just want to like see. Okay, this is kind of hard. Well, like I kind of want to see David, like kind of with his whole preaching thing. Like we kind of like were introduced to that in the last episode, well, the previous episode. So I'm looking forward to that. I kind of want to see like Simone and Tia's whole relationship with the stripper job. Like they kind of like left us hanging. Like I feel like they're getting everyone like developed, but then
Right,
like leaving storylines. And I'm like,
right.
can we finish this? And so I just really want to see everyone. Like I want to see like Bryson how he's going to deal with this issue he's coming through. Like is Ari going to be a little bit more vulnerable? Is he going to figure out what he's going to do with like his next relationship? Like is he going to date this girl he was like having sex with? Like I don't know.
Right.
So these are all like questions I have. But prediction wise, I don't know. It's hard to tell like what I'm predicting, but I just hope everyone kind of like goes into like a new stage in their character. And I don't know what that is. So
Now I understand. I have a prediction. I predict that Bryson's going to go back to actual therapy.
okay,
That
yeah.
he's not going to continue to use the bottle as therapy. That he's actually going to seek help because now it's impacting him physically to the
Right.
point where his ego is attacked. And whenever a man's ego gets attacked, you faced with a choice: either do something to heal or mitigate this, or continue to cause havoc. So I'm not sure, but
That's a
we
good
just
prediction. Okay. Yes. We'll
you,
use that one together.
okay. Okay. We just want to say thanks y'all for tuning in. Y'all see, there's a lot going on. We're staying safe. Hey Missy, tell the followers where they can find you at.
You guys can follow me on all social media platforms at Missy Vernier.
Okay, perfect. And you can find me on all social media platforms at chef_Beanz with a Z. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, y'all.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.